It's Muskoku, Ricky, Nico, Lokusi, Johnny, Gators, and Bossa, Lady, Hannibal, Fliss, and this party. Red Linda, Red Tsunami, Red Creeks, and Red Ferrari, Red Claymore, Red Jabani's Medical, and Exabani, Yaya, bless. They call me Mr. Manifest. You fellas screaming out the chest. I got this technique better. I found my destination through a red light. Rock your soul through the daylight. Hot jump going crazy, right? Nancy going crazy, right? Up, man, fight. I'm purple hazy through the night. I'm thinking chili out spite. I'm making soup for the slice. I'm speaking Alabama Creek. I'm south of corn through the streets. I rock got rains on the day. Koozie King is out of ranges. Koosa, Koosa. I'm talking, they call me Nico Tussanouki. Punk a flame like a doobie. In the fields of the core. And I got some fun. Good evening, family. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. So we've been doing this series since August 15th. And it started off with a 3-show series with a young man out in Oklahoma City, Mike Lane, and that got the ball rolling. Actually, we started probably a good decade ago doing shows, maybe 7 years ago, doing shows with Tavis Sanders and his mom up in Philadelphia. But it never really took off. And then after Mike Lane in August, I tell you, it was the floodgates open. We've on this show, all are welcome. We just ask that you come with respect. We have some experts, some resident experts from different disciplines, if you will. Planet is our musical minister, our vibe minister, also the minister of wisdom, Mafia Shakur, the young point guard, very much representative of today's generation, the 35-year-olds. Those who are running things. And we encourage him. We lift him up. We celebrate him. We want him to do well. And we want him to learn and to grow as we do with all of our children, grandchildren, and the like. So we've talked about some things specifically like the mound pyramids. How many pyramids are there in America, North America, South America? We've talked about the number of pyramids in Africa. And if you combine the mound pyramids with the stone pyramids here in the Americas, then the Americas far outnumber the number of pyramids in Africa. The pyramids in Mexico rival in terms of time the pyramids in Africa, going back as far as the one in Djoser, Djoser. Our resident expert on that has been Horace Lee IV. He's taken pictures and shared with us many snapshots of mound pyramids across North America, including the ones nearest his home, including Cahokia. Cahokia. If you want to learn about mound pyramids, look up Cahokia. And I'll say this on that note, that we have people of varying degrees of insight and expertise, and all are welcome. This is the family table. It's Sunday evening. All are welcome to join in, to share, to engage. Oh yes, is that you do it with respect. All are welcome. If you want to come on, I'll gladly put the link in, and you don't have to stunt to come on. Just say, hey, send, put up the link, send us the link. We like to come in and share what we have. Besides the mound pyramids, I mentioned the Mexican pyramids, including Teo, and don't even get me, I'll try, Teotihuacan, Chichen Itza. That sounds like something Hannibal would know about. Cholula, Uxmal, Monte Alban, Palenque, Tulum. They built those too. And we're talking about the Olmec culture, the Olmec civilizations. And as we saw in the last show, in a map of Central America, the Olmec civilization was right in the middle of pyramids. Pyramids to the north, pyramids to the south. We have talked about the Delaware, the Alabama Creek, the Olmec, the Hebrew, the Moors, including the Moors and the Muurs. And I got to tell you, I'm still learning, but our fan base highly suggests there is a difference. Tecumseh, the Shawnee warrior and leader who united dozens of tribes against U.S. expansion in the early 1800s, said this land belongs to all indigenous people, not to any one nation to sell. The government feared him that much. Hannibal, last show, talked about the Irish, or referenced once again the Irish when they came over, how they married into indigenous communities. More about mixed lineage, hiding in plain sight. And on that note, we have talked about $5 Indians, people who paid $5 to get on the rolls, like the Dawes rolls. We talked about free people of color who were original to this land, farming their own land, but before the Civil War. Hannibal talked about the Alabama Creek Red Sticks, Hensey. So just a recap, if you will. We won't go in and pull in Mr. Hannibal James. He's been a faithful participant, soldier the whole time. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. What up, though, Donnie?
What up, though? Hey, I just saw your girl.
Well, who is that?
What's the fly girl? She had the shoulder pads in her joint, the glitter on, the black.
Well, you talking about Clarissa?
No, comedian. Just did a show in Detroit, and she started the show off with Detroit. What up, though?
What up, though? Yeah, that's our greeting. So who's this young lady? I'm out. I'm out to lose.
Some more.
What's going on? Oh, some more. Some more from Chicago. Yeah. What up, though?
She first went to Detroit when she was 8.
Yeah. We right down the road from each other. We like 3.5 hours away from each other. Detroit and Chicago.
Speaking of travel, we got a Black Wall Street Tuesday down in Southern Maryland. And brother, it is not around the corner. I got a 2-hour drive.
Oh, man. That's a hop, skip, and a jump, man. 2-hour drive, that's a hop, skip, and a jump, John.
I got things to do, man, besides spending 4 hours in a vehicle. I wish I could catch a plane, quite frankly. So I got a surprise for you, man.
Okay, what is that? Okay,
bam!
That's my homeboy. What up, though,
Steve, what's that, Nathaniel?
Come on, man, load that video, man. Where the package at, brother?
Where the package?
Yeah, we gotta get that video in here so let the people see.
Yeah, we need that package. You loaded?
Yeah, no, it's different because I'm signed out of the back office, so I can't.
Let me see, could I grab it?
Yeah, I was about to say Hannibal. I had to pull it up for me.
Okay.
Set the screen because I can't do none of that.
Give me 1 second, you guys. So what's been going on with you, though, Mafia? While I'm looking up with this.
Man. There's still clouds in the sky. You know what I mean? I'm looking up. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I'm still studying, and you know what I mean? just putting life in order.
Okay. So here.
You know what I mean? I'm looking up.
Yes, sir.
Please, man.
Hey,
Say
now.
what up, Janet?
All right. Good.
Hey, Donnie, I'm sending you something real quick in the private chat. You got that, Donnie?
Yes, sir. Sweetness,
Good to
don't
see
be
you.
all buttering me up. We don't know where you been at.
What it do, Planet?
Everything's good. Everything is good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah,
What up,
likewise.
Donnie?
Planet, my man, 500 grand. How you living?
Hey, man, you know what we do.
That sun bright over there in Hawaii.
Yeah. No,
Pimping
it
ain't
just
easy.
stormed.
Somebody
I
gotta
thought it
do
was going to take out the electricity again. I'm in a different spot, but it stopped. Fortunately, I don't know if
Okay,
you can
that's good.
see. No,
Oh, man, it's
let's see.
beautiful out there.
Yeah, you know how we roll. Yeah.
You know how we roll.
Yes, sir.
Secrete.
In it to win it for the long haul.
Boys tell them about the miss
Mm.
Even when I'm gone, remember what I said? How we gonna be friends and they want me dead? Outlaw cowboys and the Indians. Go ahead, horse, tell them about the bird.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, they call me Billy Kid. How we gonna be friends and they want me dead? Go ahead, horse, tell them about the pyramids. 6'4" on my tippy toes, Mississippi soul from the city though. How far the rivers go? Chesapeake this flow on the crab and go. We on Oak Avenue. Even when I'm gone, remember what I said? Outlaw cowboys and the Indians.
And talked about how the ancestors were speaking to.
Cantaloupe, watermelon, frozen cups and crabs. Go ahead, horse, tell them about
Yeah.
It's more than what you see. It's like you feel the ancestors
Go
call.
ahead, horse, tell them about the pyramids. Everywhere I go, they call me Billy Kid. Is you red or you white sticks? Yeah, dummy, fuck it is. Mona sucker pony, I heard Danny killed the Natchez. Before the corner stores, the treaty wars was the top picks. This power, who left
Drop
these
it.
the project? Was that out of context? Tipping through the town, through the mounds of Cahokia. Everybody come together around, it's time to open up. Today's price ain't yesterday's, man, it's going up. In the blood of my mother, in the name of the father. How you gonna tell them gator babies to wade in the water? You try to rain on my parade, truly a dishonor. Now I lay me down to sleep till I wake in the morning. Outlaw cowboys and the Indians. Go ahead, horse, tell them about the pyramids. All is well, I can't complain. Love is love on gang. I got all eyes on me. All is well, I keep it real. I ain't no lie, I ain't no cheat. Nah, I know some niggas that die name you deceased. Either you fizz or you fellas. Either you with us or you against us. Either you banging with the family or you out trying to arrest us. All they saw you be in the darkest of days. I live for the morning, let go of them mankind. You wanna do it for the elders, do it for the kids. Do it for the family, do it for the piss. Yeah, we back. For the kids. You know what the fuck it is, duh?
Yeah.
Son about
All of the heathens. Yes, sir.
Shout out to the brothers, man. Gave me that inspiration, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Putting
sir.
it down.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the brothers. Shout
Very
out to the
good.
brothers that gave me the inspiration. Donnie gave us the platform. You know what I'm saying? Forrest gave us the pyramids. Hannibal gave us the tribe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Planet gave us the spirituality, and he put me in with Seven Boma and Brother Rich. you know, so I can get on my animation tips. So man, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the chat, DJ Sweetness, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Gratitude.
sir.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so what I want you to explain to the audience how we embracing this new technology that's amongst us, like this AI, and we making our images and making our productions with that. And our
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's very important because if we talk about the birth of a nation was the start of the
True that.
downfall of our images. So we
right,
didn't even have control over our own images, let alone our own information, our history. So now that we uncovering the history and things of that sort, I think there's a lot that we are visual learners as well. So sometimes we need to see. So that's why some people ask for the receipts. Well, with the receipts, I was just looking at a clip and the guy was saying, you know, when them other folks be up there and they just speaking off at the mouth, they was like, yeah, that's the truth. But as soon as we start talking, they say, well, where are the receipts? Or
right,
what's your reference point? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
I think along with the information and giving the visuals that we're able to create with this technology, they go hand in hand. As long as you fact checking yourself so that you're not putting out more information that is misleading to the people.
Right. You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, some in our the most recent video that got the most views, one of the comments someone made is, you know, they're being facetious saying that we're not bringing up archaeological facts or linguistics. So to validate our end, I will bring up them type of archaeological finds and linguistic finds to substantiate our claim of being indigenous. You know, so you know, I got a PowerPoint I could share later on in this episode here that what I was working on today. No,
Absolutely.
you know, I had a strange encounter. I talked to Planet Wells about it, but it's, you know, I want to share with the audience. The other day I met a guy, you know, he was a Native American. His last name was Serrano, Serrano, kind of like the Serrano peppers. So I made it, you know, I said, well, the Serrano peppers named after you guys. He's like, no, I'm a Native American. He said, yes, the peppers is, but he said, I'm a Native American from California. And we're called the mountain people. And then he got to going into a spiel about them being black in antiquity. You get what I mean? So if Johnny, you can bring up the Serrano people, look at some images, and you can see what he was talking about. And then if you look at their what they call themselves, the etymology of what them, Serrano, Serrano or Serrano Indians out there in California, San Bernardino. And the ironic thing, I was stationed there in that area for 2 years and with the Marines. You know what I'm saying? And I never knew nothing about that. You get what I mean? So it was like an awakening to me. You know what I'm saying? It was personal to me to encounter this guy. And then I found the connection between Southwestern and Southeastern natives. It was trade with the minerals. You know what I'm saying? So certain places had certain minerals. And if you trace the minerals with the natives, you'll see that they would like the graphite ore from where my people come from in Coosa went thousands of miles, even out to California out that way. You get what I mean?
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
where the whole the war comes from, the resources of the land.
Right. This land here is rich with abundance of natural resources, things that's underground and in the rocks. You know, we can look at the things above ground, like the vegetation, the trees, and the plentiful wood and all, like maybe marble and stuff like that. But it's a whole bunch of natural resources that's here, that's untapped to. Yeah. You know, I can share with you, Donnie. Let me share with this.
So the picture I came up was the people look Central American,
Okay.
or Latin American.
Have you found their name they call themselves? See, Serrano, when we look at the terms that we call Native American, them are all like colonizing terms. You get what I mean?
So Serrano is mountain people.
Yes. So he made mention of that they're connected to Queen Khalifa and all them out there.
Mm.
So when you look at the origins, when the Spanish first encountered them, I think the Spanish encountered them in like 1513, if I'm correct. They called them black tribes or Negro tribes.
Yeah, man, all the tribes is whitewashed through
Oh
the Indian schools and this colonization.
These are the Khalifians. Probably
Yeah.
my favorite picture ever.
yeah, because you can tell. Let me see something as I'm looking.
And hit the like button.
Yeah, subscribe.
Yeah.
So they say the Serrano people refer to themselves by several altonyms. Tactum, or Taaqtam, meaning people, or Ma'aringe Yam. This is the one that I'm really interested in. Is both of them I am, but Ma'aringe Yam is Maarrenga, apostrophe YAM. And
Is
then
that
they say,
Moringa?
yeah, like Moringa, Ma'arenga Yam. People from
They made me
Moringa.
think of lemon meringue pie. Same word, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, but here go one more. And they call themselves Ya'aventum. YUAHAVIATAM.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's the one. Them two, them Ma'aram Yam and Yahavitum, that got Semitic origins. If anybody know about linguistics, you get what I mean? Them words right there got
Right.
Semitic origins. Like Yam, if anybody. So the Christians say that Noah had 3 sons, Japheth, Shem, and Cham, or Yam, or Ham. But the Muslims say that Noah had 4 sons, Japheth, Cham, Shem, and Yam. Yam was the one who didn't get on a boat, and he went to the mountains. And he said he would survive on the mountains, and in the Muslims tradition, they say he passed away. But if you look it up, the son of Noah named Yam, his name is also Canaan. Canaan.
Okay.
So do you see how they took the curse of Ham and put it on? Where the same thing that happened to Yam in the Muslim thing is the same thing the Christians trying to say happened to Ham. You get what I mean? They interchanging them. So what I'm saying is that these people out there got a biblical or a Semitic connection to mountain people with that word YAM. You see, that's the linguistics. When you talk about linguistics, that's how you kind of point into a direction of the meaning of this word. And like the word the word M-A means mother or water. The water, ma is water. So you got water in the front and you got mountains in the back. And then you go back to the story of this Islamic story of YAM, said he went to the mountain and drowned in water. So this is the type of research that we have to endeavor in. We have to look at
the different cultures. It's
I'm talking about, you got to look at theological information beside contemporary information, because a lot of people don't believe in religious history. So, but you have to look at it and have a knowledge of it and try to reference contemporary information with it. You get what I mean? Because basically everything is kind of mixed with biblical information. You know, we can kind of try to hide from it. Even when you go in these cities, you go to the court. The court ain't nothing but Deuteronomy 29. That's it.
But all of the biblical and religious texts come after colonization.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about with it is that these people bought these ideologies. I'm saying beyond what we believe in. I'm saying you got these people with these ideologies that bought this ideology of Christianism and put it into our everyday life. When you when you get into these towns and you see Kiwanis and you see all these symbols when you enter the town that tells you the origins of the town. You get what I mean? A lot of people don't pay attention to them shields or whatever you call these emblems when you enter into certain places. You get what I mean? So I'm saying that the court is a biblical thing. You know what I'm saying? Us getting tickets for certain things is biblical things in their eyes, is what I'm saying. This is the awareness that we have to see when we out and about in this world. You know, I guess that's it in a nutshell. You know what I mean? So back to what I was saying with linguistics, you know, you can study the language of certain tribes, and you can connect these, or you can see because a lot of scholars won't say it's for fact. They'll say you can see similarities. And it's a lot of similarities with the tribes and a lot of Semitic origins. You get what I mean? That's the only thing I'm trying to put out there as information so people can study for themselves, come up with a conclusion. You get what I mean? You know, and not just study and say, well, study scholarly facts. You know, you have people that have wrote scholarly papers on things, study them things. You know, go and get into books and get into purchasing books on history of our people. The other day I went and bought this book here. If anybody could see. It's called, hold on. You guys can see that? It's called The Indian Heritage of America. It's written by Alvin M. Josephy Jr. I paid $6 for this book at the Detroit at our King's bookstore. On Amazon, it's like $38. You know what I'm saying? So I did a good thing going to this used bookstore here. You know, so in a lot of our places, a lot of these gems are there. You get what I mean? The information it talks
the
about.
Indian Frontier is a great read too.
Yes.
It has a lot of cross references, facts of the details.
Right. I was getting into like, hold on. It's called the Black Indigenous Lingua Franca. That means the Black Indigenous language. You know what I'm saying? It's written by Peter H. Woods. And it talks about the language of like the Seminole and the Yamasee people, right? And it talks about the linguistic matrix of the shadow zone. And the shadow zone meaning that certain West African tribes use certain sounds and inflections to explain, to give the listener a visualization of an idea. You get what I mean? So these linguists here who study languages looked at the tribes like the Kusabo and that's the Kusa, the Desto, all these tribes in South Carolina and Georgia, and they said that their jargon was heavily heavily influenced by West African terms. And then it said, especially when it comes to rice and processing words like beni. Beni means sesame and gumbo, okra, and the kimbundu into the local lexicon through the Afro-Indigenous exchange. So they got this talking about how the Seminole and the Yamasees and the Gwale adapted certain West African inflections or certain words, and this creolization got mixed into the language. So when people say, well, when you want archaeological or linguistic facts, these is the facts that's on records about our people. You get what I mean? When they study certain tribes, not saying all of the entire tribe, was they saying that certain tribes predating Columbus had these attributes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing what kind of do you guys see the comments in there?
No, I can't see the comments.
Okay, here go Brenda Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
I think the unknown, this is a vast place. If anybody ever traveled this place, it takes like about 3 days, 3.5 days to travel from one end of the country to another end of the country, driving, right? And that's resting in between. You get what I mean? So this is a vast place. So just imagine walking from Virginia to California.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Exactly.
Or being on horse and going that far, and what you would actually see along your way there.
It's true.
You know, we got a lot of people that's joining in. You know, a lot of people is, you know, do we got anybody in the chat that want to come in and need to express some points? Here go Mr. LJ the Great, Lindell. Especially in the hood, you always see a bunch of churches everywhere. Back in the days, they used churches to control and monitor us during our gatherings.
Okay. Yeah.
Aniwaya. So, anybody know that word? Who that is? Or any?
Yeah.
So, in the Cherokee language, that's like a one of the daughters of Sahoya, I believe. You know what I'm saying? She had that name too. I mean, it might be another greeting or whatever. Aniwaya. So it was a lady named Sahoya amongst the Cherokee and amongst the Creeks as well that had a daughter that name. I think she was part of the Deer Clan, if I'm not mistaken.
Powerful pieces, man. It's a lot to read up on, a lot to study on. That's why once
you can't blame them at all.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, I get you. Because those who came over here and colonized this place was looking at this place in a religious view, whether they was for God or against God, whether they was for God or the devil. You get what I mean? They had this view of the world. We talking about the year 1490s, 1500. Yeah. What was the world like? What was they doing in the old world? What was the ideology in most of the countries there?
Yeah, we don't see God the same. God is a tool to them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as we live in 2026, we got a different view upon the world. I'm saying back in 1526, they was controlled by the church and these high-ranking religious officials.
And if you went against it, you know, you could get burnt at the stake.
Yeah, and that's what they was doing, you know. And being planted, we was discussing that deeply the other day, you know, about how the ideology of those who colonized this place with their religious mindset, and then not only that, how the leadership was kind of scurvy. You get what I mean? Kind of wicked. You get what I mean? And
had to be
for people to do the things they did. That's what we were trying to.
You know, even as you have like the current situation, there's a difference between the policymakers and the decision makers in the political and in some cases military arena. They're different from the common person. that's online when you're trying to get, some food or something like that. They ain't on that. But yet they're in a system that they have to follow that depending on, where they're at. And the world is starting to wake up to the fact that the governments got a different order than the people. It's perceived that the governments are the people. I don't see that,
Mm-mm.
because they hide stuff, they falsify stuff, they do that. And one of the things is organized religions, right, is often in bed with that, so it's structured on an agenda. And that agenda was inherited from European culture at the time that Hannibal is referring to.
Yeah.
The early, 1300s, 1400s, and all that kind of stuff. Right. So that's the governing group that brought the rest of the homies over here.
Right.
Right.
What's the
So
religious rule?
and they had the allegiance to that. Right. So, you can see it in a lot of older European pseudo-historical films about how they was actually living over there. You had the royal class, and then you had the serfs. It was a harsh life, and you had a lot of people who were incarcerated, and then they gave them the option, right? Just like in the Vietnam scenario, they gave some people in prison, an option, or an option not to go to prison, but you could go to Vietnam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is another tier that is making these decisions, you know. So
So
yeah.
we got a deep question here that maybe we can have a deeper conversation here. Brenda Bennett, she asked, she say, what is God from a metaphysical perspective? So I'll start. I'll say, from a metaphysical perspective, God is all encompassing, meaning like if you're talking about like physics or quantum physics, meaning that God is all possibilities, meaning that as us being humans, we can either do this or that. What I'm saying is that this supreme power or the higher power is all decisions at one time. You get what I mean? That's what you mean by metaphysics, though the seen and the unseen, you know.
Yeah, I could agree with the seen and the unseen. It's the collective consciousness. It's the source of all consciousness, the source of all creation.
So good.
And now how you break that down, it comes into different avenues depending on culture.
So Planet. So from a spiritual point of view, we're using the spiritual and the metaphysics. You know, what do you think? This when they say God, this great power, or this when people say, because a lot of people say, well, God is me, or God is in me, but
absolutely,
that me is everybody. So
now,
God
that me is not everybody. The me is you. You have your own spirit and your own soul, but we all come from a collective source.
That's what I was thinking.
Which is the consciousness. And consciousness is the kundalini, is a certain frequency and vibration.
So what about nature and the correction of even us? Like have you ever heard of anybody ever seen like the movie The Happening, like when the trees were letting off like this cyanide because humanity was acting a certain way? They like a fail safe, like nature has a fail safe against humanity. You know, that's what I'm talking about the metaphysics of the all encompassing, that is fail safes for us. Like we just can't get out here and just eat anything. You know what I'm saying? We learn what to eat by even the trial and error, even by death. You know, we've been eaten by certain animals. We've been poisoned. You know what I'm saying? That's why we cringe when people sneak up behind us, because that's a natural, or not a natural thing, a thing that's genetically bred to us. Like how do we know how to suckle? Meaning that how do we know how to suck on a nipple or a bottle? That comes from the very first of us who ever suckled. You get what I mean? So what I'm saying, the metaphysics of this all encompassing entity is beyond our conception, as I'm trying to put it. You know, we can get bits and pieces of what we think.
Nah, I mean that's according to each individual. That's according to what you willing to interpret and study about. Because you can study quantum theory, you can study frequency, you can study vibration, you can study nature. These are aspects of God in many different aspects. That's why religion is predicated upon the people, because we saw nature as a godly nature. This is why we put our feet in the grass. This is why we absorb the radiation from the sun. This is why we go and sit at the water to get the calm of the waves in the ocean, from that Ma that you're talking about, that mother energy, the great waters.
I'm
listening.
One of the main things about organized religion is that there are a lot of social criteria to keep the religion intact, or keep the body of the people related to that religion intact, right? Now, it's predicated on this concept that you need an intermediary, right, to help you, right, have a connection with God. Wait a minute. What? Are you telling me? Okay, that you gotta have an intermediary?
I think that's why they looked at our ancestors kind of like they, you know, they don't want to accept this intermediary, so they must be heathens. You're gonna be, they don't want to be.
The thing here in Hawaii, you know, there's a saying that they say that, you know, when the colonists came, they came with the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave the people the Bible. And when the colonists left to go back to Europe and go back and forth, the colonists had the land, and the Hawaiians had the Bible.
Mm-hmm. You
right?
know,
And they also say that a lot of the clergy came to Hawaii as clergy in the day, right, and real estate brokers at night. So they just came, that was just a smokescreen, right? Because if you're a natural person, you are naturally connected to the source. No intermediary needed.
yeah, so that go back to, but you remember,
if you want to explore the metaphysics of things, which is just a different type of language of looking at it from a scientific perspective, right? The religious trip is there's always an image. Even the people who say that there's no image in their religion, they got an image,
mm-hmm.
right? And, you know, the whole process is for you to bow down to that, right? So that's like why you go into court and they tell you what? Put the hand on the Bible.
Right, swear.
Right? Because they know you're a liar. Your natural state is a liar. So they got to put a book out there and say, you know, put your hand on the book and da 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 da, right?
Mhm.
implying that there's some great father, okay, because it's very male oriented,
Right.
Mhm.
father, creator, homie, that is going to judge you, right? So it sets up all of these rules, right? Now, with most lies, there's a little bit of truth in it. That's how they can get the fish on the hook.
Yeah, that's why I was just about to ask you. It something that our ancestors seen with their beliefs that the Bible was pushing out, that they cling to it. You get what I mean?
It's already our teachings. It's already our teachings. It's a universal connection. It's one universe that we all reside in.
Correct.
And on
I
this
mean,
earthly plane.
yeah. I mean, getting closer to the study is closer to mathematics and equations. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the science, you know. So that everything's separate now. You feel me? You got to go to college for this. You got to go to the church for this. You got to do all of these different things because they have it in different sections.
Compartmentalized.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. In different sections, and then there's a hierarchy, right?
Gatekeepers. Yeah.
So like, don't nobody, you know what I mean? The Pope, come on, he's 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 top dog. You know what I'm saying? He got the real connection, right? So you have to bow down. You see the people kissing the ring and all this kind of form. You see?
Right.
So it's a control system, right? And the perfection of this um, was brought about in the European theater, and then they utilized it even before interaction with deeply melanated people. They was doing it to themselves,
Yeah, because they
right?
was holding each other to these religious ideologies before they
Correct,
even interacted with
correct. Coming from
people.
that whole Abrahamic sphere, and you got the Council of Nicaea, you got all these different things, right? But nobody looks at it as a governing control system.
Yeah. So
And
when you talk about
they kind of try to weave in morals and all this kind of stuff. You feel me?
Right. Right.
To guilt you. You feel me?
Into having faith in this religious beliefs.
but it's
Yeah.
still the
Of
same,
which is hierarchical.
right?
Right.
But it's still the same views and opinions of old, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
we ain't fighting a new ideology or an ideology 400 or 500 years old. We fighting an ideology over 1,000, maybe 2,000 years old.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And
Correct.
people who've been passing down these views and opinions for that long.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And often it's never in the moment.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like it'll be written 1,000 years after the.
That's when
Absolutely.
you realize it, like, oh damn.
How long we thought we was Africans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So it's like, you're in third grade, like how much can you really remember about you being in third and fourth grade? You might remember one or two things, you know what I mean? I remember I got busted for having a water pistol because it
Mhm.
leaked in the coat room, right? And I got busted straight up. I got busted, you know what I mean? Because there's a puddle of water next to my jacket. You feel me?
Right.
So, I can remember that, but not much more, right? So now you're talking about someone writing something 800, 300 years after the supposed person was on this, there's room, a lot of wiggle
There's
room,
bigger
but you
room,
can
yeah.
make it, yeah, you can, so it's there's a thing called, a synchronicity, all right? So within these words, you can extract some truths, right? You could also do that with the New York Times, though. You could just read the daily, right? And you'll be able to see the relationship between what's being reported and what has the spin of the reporter. You know,
Right.
you can see these things. You can also see how the ego plays a part in the mix, right?
Well, that's the biggest part.
So my whole thing is, God don't speak English. Come on, man. Come on. What are you talking about?
God speak mathematics.
There you go. Right? And that type of connectivity through the understanding the equations. And that's just a natural life. So when you look at indigenous cultures, that's their university. University is a weird word because most people think of the learning of this universe. It's in the word. That's what it's supposed to be about,
The
right?
knowledge of the universe, everything within it.
Exactly.
Or what we know, the total compendium of knowledge, or what we know at this moment. Some of it is open to
And
everybody.
that's the outer, and then there's the inner.
But a lot of that knowledge is closed to the vast majority of people,
Correct.
It's closed to their choice. It's closed to their choice because you have to put the time into to program your mind, because all the information is out there. I mean, we don't know what's under the Vatican. We haven't seen the pictures or the images or in totality or read the books, but the information is out there.
Correct. And that shows you the nature of the people who control the library. Right? So if they were so holy and open and whatever, right? The world would have access to that information. But they know that information is directly related to power on earth, right? So one of the things that's coming out now is the relationship of this dude Epstein, right?
Right.
The relationship of that with Abrahamic religions and the relationship of power, right? And one of the things that's coming up is the Freemasons, right?
Mm.
Now, when you look at the history of America, United States, you find that the presidents or the ruling class, they was all down with the Freemason game, secret society game. So wait a minute, what purporting to be for the people, but yet you're holding this information for you and the royal court so that you can be above people, right? So man writes on paper, right? God makes the tree that the paper comes from. So if you learn how to read the tree, you're closer to that frequency that we call God.
And that's some of the knowledge hidden within the degrees of the Masons.
Right. And then so when they come over here and steal the knowledge, they call the people that they stole the knowledge from what? Primitive.
and you know where
savage.
Where you can get a lot of the basis of that knowledge is in geometry and trigonometry.
Correct.
Geometry, trigonometry is the basis of masonry.
Correct.
A squared, B squared, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The
And when you,
Pythagorean theorem.
correct. And when you look at geometry, it's a science of interconnectivity of all things.
Every
Right?
shape has a frequency. Every frequency has a color.
There you
Every
go.
color has a shape.
Exactly.
Right. Because certain shapes have certain, what you say, like the triangle is the strongest shape.
Yeah.
Every,
You know what one so-called, it's hard for me to even speak about this bullshit. Anyway, it the people seeking, some kind of spiritual whatever. One of the things is just the clearing of your colon, right? Something is seemingly as simple as that, because you're carrying all of this stuff, right? That's in front of your natural state. So as Lindell is saying here, the use of herbs, smokes, teas, all of that, right, is here to aid you, right? So most, forgive me for this, indigenous cultures, let's say, to simplify this, right? They see the stone, right, is having a frequency. The grass is having a frequency. The sky, having a frequency. And this connectivity of these different spheres and these different planes is locked within the study of geometry, mathematics, trigonometry, all of that.
Right.
Right? So you say, well, wait a minute. These natives, right? These homies, right? The primitive ones, right? Well, just think of how much geometry it takes to build a pyramid.
right.
And then have that pyramid's connectivity to the stars and the universe.
Right.
How much
From
mathematics is involved in
from these primitive homies that don't know, just rolling in the dirt.
that?
Yeah. Okay.
So I
Okay.
got my degree in construction management from
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Michigan University. And the physics and the mathematics was knocking people that look like me and you out the game from getting a
Mm-hmm.
degree.
Correct.
Because we couldn't understand how they was vocalizing it. We couldn't see.
Well, what we couldn't understand, what went against us, right, is they didn't explain the connection with nature.
Right.
So if you're a natural person and it doesn't connect with nature, it's
It's
not
unnatural.
important. Yeah, it's not important though.
Right.
Why would you study something that is artificial? You know what I mean?
Right.
So the ancient sciences were interlocked with nature, the revealing of nature, right?
Right.
And that's what's been lost.
They say the difference between us and other animals is that we can calculate and measure and record.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something that we as humans have been doing since the beginning. We learn and we remember, getting burned by fire. Remember them examples, how they say somebody got burned by fire, because now we
Right.
don't touch the fire because we know we get burnt by it.
Right.
I mean, unless you're a pyro.
You say a pyrotechnician, huh? But they learned the secrets of handling it.
And that's when you tap into that God frequency. You tap into a high frequency that elevates you from the lower frequency of the masses of people.
A lot of time.
I'm listening.
A lot of times we gravitate, you'll see, in early colleges or this, that, and the other, whatever. We or the schools or whatever, we gravitate towards sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like, okay. But have you ever thought about what type of physics you got to have innately to throw a ball of 60 yards into somebody's hands?
Right.
From the perspective of the person throwing it as well as the person catching it. They got to judge all of that,
Right.
right? So, but in other words, that's an application that's more natural, right? So if they put the education on that level, right, we would, as a people, would succeed just like that.
We'll
Right?
understand it more.
So you have like rap music, right? And you have English class, right? And you have the homie fail in the English class, but can rap his ass off with all kind of uh,
Verbiage.
intense, intense linguistics, all kind of stuff, right? Because it's applied to what he sees as nature. So it's twisted like that.
Right. So that's the part that we as a people had to get. Those of us who understand these certain sciences, and those of us who excelled in these certain fields, we got to be able to communicate it to our people in a natural way of what we understand.
So they get it.
So they
Self-development. Self-development is the end and the beginning, the alpha and the omega.
Correct.
You develop yourself.
Correct. So you see how the people that they call indigenous, they got their drums and they got their rattles and they got the this and they got the that, right? Well, that's because the language is directly related to the rhythm, right? Which is nature, right? When I was in Peru, and there was the Shipibo tribe, and they would wear these skirts and stuff, right? And later, I found out that the designs on the skirts and stuff were actual prayers, right? Woven into to show that connection and that geometry with the creator, right? I remember studying, African face painting and stuff like that, right? And they got the dots and they got well, they're mirroring the heavens. This ain't arbitrary stuff, right? But that's the natural way. That's the natural way. And you have to see that there's some force out there that is trying to separate you, us, me, from nature.
What Bob Marley say? Nothing they can do can separate I and I from the love of our Father.
And what does that I and I actually mean?
The I that's in I. Okay. That's deep.
Right?
Depends on
You got an answer?
Because
the
eye can't see itself. Tell them, Mafia.
Yeah, like I say, it depends on what school of thought. The eye, we normally call our first eye our third eye, which is the pineal gland. So the eye, you can't see yourself unless you have a reflection.
Correct.
And we don't always have mirrors or cameras, so the reflection, the eye and I that I see is in you, is in me, unless you're dealing with the eye of Ra and you're dealing with the left eye and the right eye, the eye of Isis and the eye of Ra.
Exactly. So these primitive people, right, knew all of this, put it in their art, put it in their music, put it in their dance, right? It wasn't abstract because it was natural,
Right.
right?
Natural.
Me is only we upside downwards.
There you go. That's real.
Wow. You know, we got a lot of comments, you know.
Y'all ask where Brenda Bennett is. There she go.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
you
I
doing,
agree.
brother?
Yeah, I agree with that. Animals remember too. That's how they know what spots they go to. They know who their peoples are. They remember danger.
I guess the type of measurement I'm talking about, an animal can't take a triangle and calculate the force of gravity at certain points on that triangle, like a human can.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
A human can't do what a Malinois can do.
Yeah, we can take and calculate potential and kinetic energy running off a triangle. The animal can't do that.
Animals can tell you when a storm is coming, though.
Well, they can tell you that, but when I'm talking about complex measurements, what gets us, we're talking about masons and how these masons built the pyramids and how we got current masons now who build skyscrapers and lay out cities and plan cities. This is masonry. You know, when you come to Detroit from Hart Plaza going out into the city is the exact design of Washington, D.C. The same design that Benjamin Banneker did. He was a Mason.
From Baltimore County.
Yeah, so that's the type of knowledge that's in Masonry. You know, you coming off a freeway and it's a spin, and you coming off like this and it's a turn off the freeway. All that got to do with the center of gravity. That's physics. You know what I mean? Right. You know, you got quadratic formulas. You got coming up this way like this. That's a certain parabolic angle coming off from the origin. That's physics. You get what I mean? Most of us can't see that because we don't got the information. But when you got the information, when you're driving down the street, you start seeing the geometry. When you see poles up in the air, you see the geometry. When you see a Ferris wheel spinning, that's geometry. You get what I mean? That's trigonometry. That's the science of the Masons. You get what I mean? So when we got people that's our family that's in here, that's engineers that know how to build things, that know how to do things like with cars and stuff like that, the mathematics about the starters and the rotation. These are the Masons amongst us. You know what I'm saying? You got organizations that call themselves Masonic. You know, that's an organization amongst men who got the sciences and use the sciences to control certain things.
Correct.
But when I'm saying that information is out there for everybody, you know what I'm saying? And once you start excelling in it, those type of people will start coming your way.
Absolutely.
Correct.
I got so many people in my DM and my Instagram. so many of them, you know how the people start coming at you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about these spells. I done heard this mentioned on this show many times.
Yeah,
spells.
everything is a spell. The language we use is a spell.
That's why they call
That's
it.
why they call it spelling.
That's right.
Okay, I mean, I caught that part. What does that mean?
So check this out. So if a person is around here saying, I ain't nothing, I will never amount to nothing, more than likely, they ain't gonna amount to nothing.
Right.
But if you out here saying, I'm great, I'm awesome, I deserve everything, those types of vibrations will come to you. That's a spell, meaning that you conjuring up something.
Right.
You're creating something. That's the essence of a spell. So every time you speak a word, that's why they say be careful with what you say, because it's a spell. Because you can create something with it. Either you can create peace or you can create chaos.
Now, if you're talking about a negative spell, like people do love spells and all of those other type of things. So that's the same thing, but it comes from a different ritualistic practice and the things that people do.
So do they work?
It backfires. Depending on who you sending that entity to. Some people are highly spiritually protected. So a lot of things backfire. A lot of things that you cast on other people come back to you.
It's a lot of our folks, not just our folks. It's a lot of folks who are really down on themselves. That's what a lot of us say they dealing with mental illness and stuff. But if you notice with these people or certain people like that, they got this inclination of putting themselves down or feeling bad about certain things that may occur in their lives. You get what I mean? And that leads to certain negative behaviors and negative attributes. But what I'm saying is that when you have a person who feels strong, even a negative person or a person that's in that state, when they start speaking life words to themselves, that spell can actually help them change their view upon this life. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean? Well, I'm a strong believer in that.
I'm a strong believer in it too.
That you speak, you speak your people ask me, how you doing, James? I'm always awesome. Mm-hmm. I gotta say that because I can't be, it ain't right. Once I say that, my whole day is shot.
Outstanding.
Right. Yeah.
Outstanding.
And then I'm about my business. I'm about my day. A lot of people say, hey, I can't complain about nothing because ain't nobody gonna listen. Because we all going through some stuff. You know what I mean? It's just how we react to it. You know what I mean?
I won't complain.
Yeah, but at the same time, communication and release and verbiage and expression is a healing process as well.
So is that a spell too?
Say it again.
Is that a spell as well?
It can be, depending on how you use, but it can work just like how people go to therapy and it works. So the expression is all about how Planet always say is about your intent. What are your intentions behind what you say and what you do?
Correct.
If I can't think something good about a person, I'd rather not think about them.
No, I understand that.
And as a journalist, I it's my job to tell the truth. So my thing is, don't ask me if you don't want to know the truth.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I come from, that aspect though. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm great. When people, I'm great. I'm great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But if I just got, hit by a car or something, I ain't gonna say I'm great, bro. I'm great. Bro, I'm great. You know what I mean? No, bro, I'm in pain right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna tell you I'm in pain, bro. Like, no, I'm really in pain.
Speak life. That's my thing.
Do y'all know this term in the educational system? He say karma energy ain't no joke. So you know what the Europeans say? They say, Newton say, every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Absolutely.
That's the insight that we're talking about. So when we say karma energy ain't no joke, so every action has an equal and an opposite reaction, meaning that whatever you do got an action that either is going to be a good benefit from it, is equally going to be good, and it's equally going to be bad. It's two choices. That goes to quantum physics. When we're back in the prior to in the beginning of this conversation, when we talking about the metaphysics of God, the all-encompassing. That's what we're talking about, karma energy. It's like when Mafia say, your intent, that gets you your karma. You can be deceptive and say, well, I'm just going to do it, and I got this other motive behind it. It'll always go wrong.
Yeah.
Never go the way you want it to go. Facts.
Yeah, that's why they say what's done in the dark comes to the light, because it's not just about what you do behind people's back. It's about what you think. It's about what's in your heart.
I think
I got a question for you, Mafia.
Yes, sir.
If you had your 13-year-old self to talk to right now, what advice would you give him?
I would tell me to focus on myself. Because at 13, I spent a lot of time towards the community and towards others. So I would continue to build myself up. so that by the time I got to the age of responsibility, I was more responsible.
Dean, what would you tell yourself?
You said me?
What would you tell your 13-year-old self?
Don't skip class. Don't be smoking weed and drinking alcohol. You know, I was probably one of the lucky ones because I stopped. A lot of my friends didn't make it. You get what I mean? But I tell myself that stay in class, be a square. You know, because I came up at a time when we had young boys in Detroit and we was 11, 12 years old selling cocaine. A lot of us didn't make it. So that's what I tell myself, be a square. Don't skip class.
What about girls?
Leave them alone because I don't even, you know what? When I was 12, 13, 14 years old, I had friends that was girls that had their own houses because they had babies. You know, so that was a common thing in the city, you know. So I would say that, you know, it's a lot of teenagers. When I was coming up in the 80s, we was grown. You know, our parents was drugged out. A lot of our parents was dope fiends and alcoholics and unstable. So a lot of my friends was raising themselves, you know. I had my mom and daddy in the house, but a lot of my friends didn't. That wasn't a common thing. You know, like I said, my friends is 13, 14 had their own house. My cousin Comp, he was 15. He had his own apartment, you know, raising himself. So this is a reality that we have. So I just tell myself, you know, don't be grown, slow down. You know, because shit, a lot of my friends didn't make it into their 20s. I thought I wouldn't make it past 16. You know, so shit, look at me, I'm 52 now. So
Mafia, what would you tell your younger self about girls?
I don't know. I think I had a great experience. I mean, I started out with women at an early age, probably before 13, but you know, I think I have a great relationship with women. So I would, you know, I would encourage me to continue to be myself. You know what I mean? I didn't. Yeah, I would continue to be myself. I love women. That's all I ever had was women in my life. I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother. Yeah, all my mother home girls. Like, yeah.
I say more respectful, more considerate, I guess.
Planet, what would you tell your 13-year-old self?
To explore the fact that television is a program.
That's powerful. Yeah, that's powerful.
You know, television was really big back then. You know,
Right.
I don't know how it is now, but it was very big. It was very big back then.
It carried a lot of weight.
Well,
yeah.
the social media and the cell phone have replaced the television.
Yeah.
Young people watch television.
It's a whole nother thing now.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
social media. Social media is a big issue. You know what I mean?
It's so dangerous. People drive like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And you look over at them, and then they like, you know, he is.
Well, you can see how
all the way in the screen,
and you can see how the evolution of that is going to be autonomous cars. All right. So the car just drive itself. You won't have to look at it. That's already happening.
Nightcrave said, I would tell my 13-year-old self mainstream is the colonizers' evil indoctrination. American Indian ancestors' teachings are the only way. We could tell our 13-year-old self that we are the real Americans.
Yeah.
As for girls, I would tell myself they will come. Don't be in any kind of rush.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I would also tell my younger self that everyone you lay down with, you take on their spirit. I think that's something a lot of us can't come to grips with. We cannot digest. You said that for every action, there's a reaction, because we live in an era where people play with the word dating. We're dating. I say you're screwing or you're not. And if you are screwing, you're taking on their spirit, whether you like them or not. You're taking on everyone you lay with, you're taking on them spirits. And a hoe is still a hoe, male or female. Call it what you want.
I feel that.
I'm dating. No, use a hoe. Male or female.
I feel that.
Across the board, because now we're in a real liberated era, kind of like the 60s all over again. They came out with that song, It's My Punani, I Can Do What I Want. You remember that song, Mafia?
Absolutely. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now a lot of women are making more money than men, and there's a lot of masculine energy out there. And on the flip side, a lot of men no longer stand up like our daddy stood up.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of male.
Yeah.
Different kind of time. Different kind of time.
Different kind of time.
But see, when you don't require things from people, or you don't be around people or be with people for the things that they have or they can offer, you don't put up with nothing anyway. I don't care if I got $2 in my pocket. I'm going to say what I'm going to say and put my foot down how I do.
A young man told me, he said, the first sign of disrespect, she is gone.
Right. Yeah.
And this is a little county kid. He said the first time.
Yeah.
But I think that's on both sides, though. You could, I mean,
male or female. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up with nothing but sisters. I'm the only boy. I got 5 sisters, and I'll be damned if somebody treat my sisters like that. And that's facts.
But a lot of us, we wonder, I can't get nobody. I can't be. You got all of these spirits. You might need some detox. You might need to sit on the bench and be still.
Yeah, cleansing is a real thing, though, Donnie. Cleansing is a real thing. Cleansing your spirit, restraining from definitely sexual activity, restraining from communication. It's like when I was younger, if I liked somebody and I had real emotional connection with them, I don't even want to talk to nobody else. But I'm the type of person that I hang up with somebody and I'm going to call the next person because I just had that type of attention span. I'm going to talk to the next one right there. But if I was really into somebody, I don't even want to talk to nobody and put that energy on me like that. You know what I'm saying? So detoxing from people is a real thing.
Yeah, relationships got to be thought through. You can go ahead, Planet.
No, I agree 100%. As we're in this, it's important to know the age, meaning the age that you are living in.
Yes, sir.
We got the AI reality, right? We got a situation. It looks like a Steel Pulse album cover. We look like Armageddon is like right here,
right around the corner.
We love Steel Pulse,
right? Mm-hmm. So we've got Jesse Jackson stepped out, right?
Right.
Of a different age, So this is an opportunity for us to step into, once we detox, step into this age with a new vigor.
Absolutely. It's a new era. I think that's one thing that Horst has said as well, as far as in like the detox and the therapeutic aspect of healing, because through all this, we just keep chugging along. We got to heal in the process.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's very important to heal and to detox and to reset yourself. And I think we got something astrological coming in on the 28th, as far as in the reset on the astrological planetary alignment, to be able to reset yourself. So get some rest and get ready for the new year. Whether the new year is in March or April for you, it's coming.
Absolutely.
Right. I agree. This whole month, since my birthday was on the 17th, it's been a lot of solar phenomenons happening, ushering in this new age that planet is talking about. I think that's why we are discovering and talking about what we're just talking about now, because
Correct.
a new age in time, a new age of discovery, and a new age of action, not just for us, I believe. I think that we are the custodians for everyone on the planet.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's the part that we have to be leaders of everybody that's on the planet. You know,
this is the only time when we can have this conversation.
right. You know, because I don't want to be on a planet or leave a planet to my children that's in destruction. So it's up to us to leave a better planet. And that's not just saying it to be saying it. It's time for us to really be involved in our communities, you know, whether that's growing gardens or attending to your own physical wellness, you know what I mean? Saying kind things to your neighbors, cleaning up your community, you know, picking up the trash on the blocks, you know.
I got a confession, man. I talk smack about my neighbor. My neighbor helped me out after the blizzard.
Right.
But do you see how that back turned to you? You know, is it some type of repentance for you because you talked mess to him and he turned around and showed you something different about it? Or
maybe what I talked was the truth, and he
activated him.
Exactly. And that's the thing, because, you know, we can be positive and we can be peace, love, and light, but it's going to be darkness that come with that. And it's going to be some
wherever you go, wherever you live, there's going to be some challenging personality.
Yeah,
whatever church you join, whatever mosque you join, whatever the streets you move on, whatever business or job you work at.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a person that's just, and it doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be. Sometimes when you meet two strong personalities, it's like that sometimes. And they turn out to be your best. They could turn out to be your best friend.
Yeah.
You done tested each other's metal off the break. Because real recognize real, wherever.
Absolutely. But even though we all exist in the same place, we still coming from different worlds. So when our worlds collide, it's going to be friction.
Correct.
Now, Nightcrave said it, not me. Jesse Agent Jackson is probably getting beat up by MLK right now. Yeah, boy. Finally. All of this, you know, you can't say that. Hey, come on, man. Say it, bro.
Yeah, say how you feel.
Cut the BS.
Yeah. It's the ending of an era.
People, you know, everybody jumping out there, you know, got all of this ass kissing. Come on, man. Keep it real. Mafia generation don't want no BS. They don't want no BS. Yeah, there were questions on the balcony. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are questions about the millions gained through this nonprofit. Yes. Yes, we did hear you talking about Barack Obama, but that's your personal business. But you did talk about something about cutting his balls off. You did. Live wire. That's what you said.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, man. But yeah, man, I think it was Ralph Hayes that said, when society is not politically correct, how can we say everything politically correct? Who are we trying to?
Who come up with that term? Probably
politically correct.
Stay-at-home mom who ain't got a damn thing else better to do. Mind your damn business. Unless you coming down in here in the trenches, moving just like that Dr. Spock. Time out, Johnny. Hannibal, time out. Hannibal, time out, Hannibal. Black mother give you that look one time. You already know what it means. Ain't no time out. Time out. Time out when that frying pan go upside your head, you find your, what they say, planet, you find yourself picking yourself up off the ground.
Mm.
And that's my public service announcement. Go MLK in heaven.
I think
that's
it's
gonna be a knockout. That's gonna be a first 1 round knockout.
I think we're dealing with a camouflage of ethics. People think it's ethical here. It's very unethical, meaning that the creation and the interactions between people here has been unethical since the beginning. And us as a people, we would get nowhere even equivalating ourselves to become as ethical as them. So what I'm saying is that we have to be the goalpost of ethics. Right now it's coming out that basically all our government officials are unethical.
Right.
That's what's been coming, are unethical. Meaning I don't know, they into perverse things. There's a lot of things that's coming out.
They represented us. Next thing I know, I hear Hakeem Jeffries talking about the safety of Israel is his #1 priority.
Yeah, because it's
secondly the black and brown people of Brooklyn, and I still don't understand it. And if that's what I got to do to be in politics, I don't want to be in politics.
I should.
Because I ain't never saying that.
I should.
My first priority is my people. They look like me.
Right.
I should.
That's my first priority.
But that's why I'm telling us to be ethical now.
What you talking about, Slim?
I'm saying right now.
What I'm
saying right now is us.
Not
you. Hear me out, cousin. We're not going to lead our people being unethical. You're not going to lead. Hear me out. You're not going to lead and grab our people being unethical like these people here, because our people are into different states of being. You can't come like that. You're going to have to be ethical. You're going to have reasonable solutions. You know what I mean? You have to be peaceful in order to get our people.
I disagree, though.
Because I need you to be able to. We got to be able to defend ourselves.
Yeah, everything is not peaceful.
I'm with him on that.
Everything ain't gonna be peaceful though.
What I'm saying is that right now, in our life right now, ain't no one under pressure where you have to grab a gun and defend yourself now.
Thank God.
You ain't walking out the house and saying, well, right now today is the day.
Thank God.
So what I'm saying, if you or any one of us in that mind state right now is going against your well-being.
I agree.
Your peace.
I agree.
Not until that moment should you think like that.
I agree. But you a soldier, and you know the #1 thing, if it break out, you got to be what?
Ready.
You got to be ready.
So what I'm saying, what's the first part of being ready? Not having a gun.
Nah, but we ain't talking about guns and violence. We just saying
you got to be physically ready. If you can't run 3 miles, brother, if you can't run 3 miles and get out of Dodge, then you in trouble.
That's for you.
That's for everybody.
That's what works for you.
I'm saying that's for everybody. When we talking about war, I'm talking about if you can't get out of Dodge, you in trouble. I'm saying I'm talking about
bro. Give me up, Hannibal. I'm just saying.
Respect Hannibal. I think everybody can do something.
I get it.
And you might not be able to run 3 miles, but you might have $3 million.
I get it.
You can come with me. We coming to get you. I'm a center. Hey, we send the boys to come and get you. You can roll with me.
Yeah.
You know, we got people in the hospice, in senior care. You know, we have people in institutions. So no, we don't want to bust out into no fight. We don't want to have
imagine the country that's been conquered, that's went to war, maybe even with this country, and this country conquered them. How they felt? Well, they said it's maybe the same things prior that we can get down.
Well, in art of war, let's talk about it. The war is over before it even starts.
Right.
You should know what you're going into. This ain't the Hollywood. This ain't 300.
That's why I'm saying that knowing what we're going into, that's why we have to have an ethical approach, because we can actually lead the world.
We already are, I think. I think this show is a prime example, because who would think a mafia? The other day we had Philly on and New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of how this show is a national show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talk about indigenous, Native American ancestry, treaties, mound pyramids and the like, red sticks, white sticks, Chickasaw, Choctaw,
Right.
Cherokee, yeah.
Right.
We also talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And we have touched on mass incarceration. This country represents 5% of the world's population, but we got 25% of the people behind the walls. 30% are black men nationwide. How in the hell does that happen? Look at those numbers.
Yeah.
So slavery never
14th
ended.
Amendment. Yeah, 13th and 14th Amendment. The Indian Removal Act.
Yeah. So it's still a war, except now we got a better understanding that
we are at war.
We are at war. Ever since they first came up and started raping people, giving people smallpox, and then got the audacity to call somebody else illegal. He called somebody illegal immigrant.
But that's what I'm saying. How can you be ethical with unethical people? That's my question. How can you be ethical with unethical people?
Donald Trump is like a little boy, like a 2-year-old boy who just took something he know he wasn't supposed to take. And the first thing he will come back doing is whine and complain, because it's never about accountability. That's what these people do not understand, accountability. Then I was, watching the show. It's called Tomb Raiders. Tomb Raiders. Tomb Raiders. Lord Croft, you digging up people's remains.
Right.
So I go back to what you were saying, Planet. What you were discussing the other day about that, Planet? About the mummies.
Oh, well, yeah. In I guess it was 17th or 1800s, they were selling in Europe for the elites an item called mumia. And what that is pulverized pharaohs. Literally. They were ingesting pulverized mummies, thinking that it would have some type of magical energy for their virility.
What were they eating it?
Yeah.
Damn, that is sick. You're not eating a live body, you eating a dead body.
The necrophilia game. Yeah.
But that goes back to what they doing now when they talk about the.
There you go. No, these homies. No, I'm trying to tell you that.
Yeah, that goes
homies
around.
is doing
The blood
now.
of these babies and all this type of stuff they talking about these people doing. Come on.
But we know we dealing with draconians. We know we dealing with vampires.
Yeah.
What's my man? Count Dracula and all that. We know we dealing with these people.
No,
we the werewolves. We were the animal skins. Against the bloodsuckers.
This is a long time thing.
Remember Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
He did a skit on on Dracula. You want to suck what?
Yeah.
Fuck your ass on away from him.
Right. And he did a skit on when he was in the pyramids and he found the Book of Life and all of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they locked his ass in there.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be, closer to the, for lack of a better word, the God frequency, and ultimately wants to be embraced.
Look at them little Asian kids, man. They want to be black.
The chosen people.
You see the Dance Moves Planet.
And
You
I
see the little
say,
Asian kids dance moves?
don't, there ain't no chosen people. See if you can get chose. Make yourself better.
Mm-hmm.
Stop this group, oh, you get all this because you with the group.
Yeah, nah.
That's some bullshit. Right? Because you know that there are a lot of homies look just like you will cut your throat.
Right. You
Right?
chosen.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so you got to get away from that and see that it is an individual. You have to get that connection.
Right. You chosen because you answer the call on your life. You listen to your intuition, your spirit.
Make that connection and then share that with the people that come in your life.
Right.
But you don't get anything just because you part of this group or that group. It's not automatic because we're not dealing in a natural world anymore. We're dealing in a very, very complex world that is actually fighting nature.
Malcolm
Right?
X said, I'd rather be who I am than to claim membership with the most favored of any other race. I've been made sad when members of this or that particular race start claiming rights and privileges or certain badges of distinctions on the grounds that they belong to this or that particular race, regardless of their own individual worth or attainment. He said that merit is in the long run recognized and rewarded. I say that here not to call attention to myself as an individual, but to the race to which I'm proud to belong. Malcolm X, autobiography.
Yeah, I read that in ninth. That was
Yeah.
a
That's
great
right.
autobiography. I read that in ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I read it in 3 days, around the 9th grade. Couldn't put it down.
Good one. It was a few. I don't even think they do the ninth graders even read black authors anymore.
Now,
Now,
No,
we'd be lucky if they do read anything.
no, for real. I didn't read the autobiography, but I watched the movie. You know what I mean? I watched the movie Malcolm X, but I also listen to speeches though. So I watch speeches just as much as I listen to music.
Yeah.
And that was growing up. That was in high school. You know what I mean? I definitely read more than I did growing up. Reading wasn't my strongest subject.
When they be making movies out of books or biographies of life, they only highlight certain things, and then they usually what's the word when they it ain't really all the truths. You get what I mean? It's like
it's based on.
Yeah, they spice it up for the movie.
Right.
When you read like Malcolm's autobiography, what connected me so much that he was here in Michigan, not that far here. He lived in Eastern Michigan, outside of Detroit. That his daddy was on a railroad here and got ran over by the Ku Klux Klan here. That they called him Detroit Red, and you had Red Fox. He was Chicago Red.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, they two of my favorite people. I'm from Baltimore, but that's who I grew up with, though. You know what I'm saying? I grew up. Red Fox was my favorite comedian, and then Richard Pryor, and then Malcolm X was my favorite leader, and then George Jackson.
Good people, that's why I say, like, maybe we need to have a reading program or something, get some books and suggest some books for our younger, teenagers to read,
Well, like Donnie, one has to write the book.
Right.
Yeah, I think the book game is a great avenue, but I think we have to pamphlet it. We have to make it in series. We have to highlight certain aspects because the attention span, unless you're dealing with readers, and readers will read 5 books in a day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, but we talking about to the average people, to bring them up to a certain information source, we got to utilize the technological and the different things that we have available to us to promote the information, because we don't live in a reader's world.
So maybe we can
electronic medium that you displayed, Mafia.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is what time it is right now.
Right.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
I was thinking about that along with like that MetaQuest or something similar where we can make these learning rooms where our people can go into, and it can be in a teaching environment. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
I was talking to the cousins about that MetaQuest where you can actually be in a learning environment where you put on these glasses and basically make your own place. You can be on an
Well,
island.
that's where it's going. That's what it's going to
That's
be.
where it's going.
Yeah.
Where technology is going, where it's interesting for the younger folks because they into this world.
It has to be entertaining.
Correct.
It has to be. The education has. That's why they came out with the edutainment concept, because the bridge that has been put between the entertainment, because we use entertainment to educate until it was poison. You see what I'm
Correct.
saying? And education was used to enlighten until it was poison. So the merger and bringing those things together will definitely spark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
A lot of people didn't know this. Say Red Fox's grandson is Lorenz Tate. He spends a lot of time here in Chicago, and that's fact. Red Fox brought Lorenz Tate on one of them night shows when Lorenz Tate was a little bitty boy.
Yeah, I seen that. I remember.
Yeah,
I'm like I say, for me not to be a reader, I'm well studied, because I was intrigued by learning. Learning was one of my first favorite things before I even met a friend. My first favorite thing was to learn. I wanted to know about the sun, moon, and the stars. That's how I got to the Nation of Gods and Earths.
Yeah. Do you remember the comedy albums, Mafia, like Richard Pryor, Red Fox? They had albums.
Absolutely. I got the classic, the long DVD with all of Richard Pryor whole set.
Yes, sir. Yeah, some class. I used to, you couldn't listen to the parents that let you listen to like Red Fox and stuff, or Richard Pryor, but I used to sneak and listen to him. That was the most funniest things ever. Talk about when Red Fox talking about you got to wash your hands. He's talking about your entire man. Come on, man. That was the most funny thing ever.
But see, that's how hip hop was. Just like how comedy was in that generation. That's how hip hop was. People had to sneak and listen to certain songs, and that's why the dinner table was very important to us. And not us not having a dinner table to sit around and share our experience with each other. It allowed us to be blind to the same things that we going through from different generations and different periods of time.
Yeah, that's why that movie Soul Food resonate with our people so much. That Sunday dinner and eating the food together. And it wasn't just the food, it's just the camaraderie, being with family. You know, the food tastes good anyway, but just the conversations and laughing with folks, I mean it all.
And to be able to call each other out when we ain't doing right. Yeah, I got something to say about that. I want to let you know about that. And we got to be comfortable with being called out and having accountability.
Yeah, but the thing is after you fall out, coming back together, because most people fall out and stay out. You get what I mean?
But that's how you weed out people who don't want to grow.
But here goes one thing though too. When you got grown-ups, you get what I mean? A lot of grown-ups don't have time for conflict, whether they're family or not. You get what I mean? So I think a lot of the gripes when you become adults should be kind of, hell, you know, we got to be more adult about the situation, because the family is more than just our opinions. Do our opinions matter more than the foundation and the structure of the family?
It does. Yes. Opinion, it does matter, because we can build a false foundation and be living on falsehood. So if everybody's not heard and expressed in this foundation, then who we living for? We living in a hierarchy.
I believe that, like I got family that I don't fuck with. Everybody got family.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, sometimes you gotta speak your piece, and if you can't get nowhere, leave it alone
Exactly.
No, sometimes you could be up in the bloodline of it.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, well, we the same blood, then get the fuck out of here. You know, get out of here.
But most people fall out with the whole family.
It ain't an automatic.
But think about it, most people fall out with the whole family when they fall out with one or two people in the family.
Yeah,
the whole family is at fault now.
Yeah, it's not
and that's okay. Y'all ever seen that picture with all the white sheep and that one black sheep in the middle? It's okay. Right. It's okay. Because you can still be the shepherd. You can lead people from afar. Just because
Right.
they don't tell you, oh, I'm watching you, cuz I see what you're doing, they watching you. So just keep doing what you're doing, because people
I think
gonna follow
one thing I learned by doing this genealogy study in Mafia is that our position in this family is a fraction. It's bigger than just the opinions of one. Like right now, from at least my second great grandparents, it's thousands of us. So they don't feel for one child. It's thousands of children that's theirs. So imagine you 100 years from now, you're gonna have thousands of children that come from you. So one opinion shouldn't shelter or shake your foundation that you build.
No, but one person should be strong enough to stand up.
Yeah.
And have something to say. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. You gotta be bold enough and have it in your spirit. Yeah, they got a fighting spirit. So have a fighting spirit to voice your opinion and have something to say. If it ain't going wrong, I'm gonna go build a whole nother family.
Yeah.
I just learned my favorite uncle didn't care for darkened skinned people. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, that's a common thing.
It was colorism. My father said that my father said his grandmother didn't like his grandfather. His grandmother's parents didn't like his grandfather because he was dark skinned, and that messed me up as a little boy. You know what I mean? It was colorism within our family because they can pass. You know what I'm saying? Her parents thought that she was doing something wrong because she was marrying somebody dark, and it's the logic that we were talking about during the time period that these folks had.
Right.
You know, what can I do to better our circumstances? You get what I mean?
She had to take that chance though, and that's the chances that you take according to the social order of what's being presented.
Oh yeah, so I know that so that would be my great grandmother. My second great grandparents forced her to the point where she divorced my great grandfather, married another guy, and got a whole nother set of children from that guy. So what I'm saying, this constantly happened. You know, when you read these records, it wasn't just the women was marrying one guy; they was married 2-3 times.
Absolutely.
You know, meaning they had 2-3 different families or 2 or 3 different sets of children.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? So that's why I'm saying that I guess I'm looking at it from a fatherly possession. I'm looking at my grandbabies. I don't treat my grandbabies any different. I wouldn't want my grandbabies to destroy our family because they had odds with each other.
Right.
So I'm gonna do everything I can to get them what they need to be together. So that's what I'm saying. If you know, we got a lot of families that say, do what you can to get your family together, because you can't fight this demon if your family ain't together.
I mean, that's a choice. That's a choice. I am my family. The family that I have, that's who I have. That's who I rock with. My family ain't even related to me.
Right. It's the frequency.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
the shared frequency.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different thing to me. Family. I was born into a family.
Like with your children.
Family that I made.
I'm saying like your children. Like our children. That's the family I'm talking about. Not just siblings.
Yeah, well, that's I understand. Yeah.
Children. You know, the camaraderie amongst our children is needed in this future. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
it's needed. They can't be at odds with each other to say, well, we're gonna persevere. It's not. You get what I mean? We can't persevere. Even being friends, you can't persevere without being on the same page and having camaraderie as friends.
Correct.
That's why I think that's the point I'm making. Just the camaraderie of the family and the camaraderie amongst us will help us in the future. And
yeah, absolutely. You gotta build strong foundation. But see, it's just in my opinion, and you know, I'm only a father of 17 years, but it's up to them. I can't in 30 years I can't tell how my daughter gonna act amongst us siblings. I don't have no control over that. If I'm dead and gone, I don't know. If she not tapped into the spirit realm and she can hear me and my vibrate with my frequency, I don't. There's no control I have over that.
My oldest boy, he'll be 33 next month. He called me the other day, took DNA test. He wanted to know about the family. He got his results. He see his indigenous results. He wanted to know where it comes from. So I'm being this one. My children, amongst my children, I'm so happy because they are together. I can leave here and I know that my seed is together.
Right.
You get what I mean? So that's the point that I want everybody to even have that feeling that I got.
No, yeah, I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. And it kind of is, you know, I come, believe you me, I don't know my mother's side of the family.
Right.
I met my grandfather one time. My grandmother was dead before I was born. I don't know none of her kin. I don't know really too much. I know my grandfather's other daughter's children. And that's it, you know, and that's it. So it's real big on me for family to be together. You get what I mean?
Right.
Nah, I'm with you. I understand.
No,
I come up like that. You can ask any of my relatives that I don't get along with or nothing. I'm the family guy. You that big.
I think we getting these shots. Each generation get a shot to correct it. You get what I mean? It's your turn, and at this moment of time to get your family affairs or who you descend from in order. Or at least get your stuff together so whoever follow you can have some stability.
That's what it's about. I'm young enough to start a family, so you know, once I can find that right counterpart, I'm gonna have a whole new family.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it's
You
been
know what I'm saying? I'm still young enough.
Oh yeah.
If I can go till I'm 60, I'll be 60 out here making babies. You heard me?
I got 7 of them. I got 7 babies. I got 5 boys and 2
120 mafia.
You know what I'm saying? Long as I can get. You know what I mean?
My babies is giving me grandbabies like heck. I got 4 grandbabies, all 4. Well, yeah. I got 4 grandbabies. All 4 of them is 3. I got 2 grandbabies that are about to come within these next 2 months. So my 7 babies is about to give me a whole bunch of babies. So I got 7 babies plus 4. That's 11 plus 2 more. It's 13. I got 13 souls that's coming from me.
Yeah, you know, you on the nation building.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I was the only I got 5 sisters in me. So it was me to keep my line going, and I did my job. So I suppose I suggest that everybody else do their job and build your legacy. You know what I mean? And be there for your babies. You know, I sit back and I say, well, if something happened to me today, I'm all right because I did what I can for mine. Yeah. And that's facts. You know what I'm saying? I grew up. You know what I'm saying? There was a time when I was contemplating in the car, didn't know how I pay rent, getting evicted, but I got all these babies. What I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna run away. You know, I was married young. I was married at what? 1998. I was 20, going on 24. I stayed married for 25 years. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff that our people have to endeavor in. Oh, I got a baby daddy. Oh, I don't need him. Oh, I got a baby mama. I don't need him. No, you done destroyed your whole legacy. Correct. You done put your whole legacy in shambles by them decisions you made.
I mean, according to people's opinions, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, everything ain't the same. Yeah. Some people was forced to get married because they had babies, and they was married for 59 years for somebody they ain't even want to be with. You know what I mean? It's all, everybody's story not the same.
There's not one way.
Yeah, I get that.
So it just, you know, because even people who haven't had kids and didn't get to rebirth themselves into the future, they touch lives out here. They really touch and transform people's lives and hearts. So that spirit, like somebody like Tupac Shakur, he touched so many lives and spirits. That energy he live on forever. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just saying that the responsibility that we have for each other need to show first within our families. It's not showing within our families to the world. This is what I'm trying to explain. When the world look at us, they see these certain things about our core family. So what I'm trying to say is that our core family has to get back to the essence of what we were. We can remember them things. So when it's our turn to be the leaders in our families, we kind of drop the ball. But it's time now to not be on ourselves and beat ourselves down. It's time to come up with behaviors and solutions to start dribbling that ball again, is what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
Everybody doing it to their own accord. That's all I'm saying. Everybody doing it to their own accord, because not to mention that the nuclear family was our spirituality. This was our God, the Holy Trinity, and we've been at war for thousands of years.
Yeah, but you know, another thing, when you say our nuclear family has always been basically kind of like it is step parents. You know, when you go back in them old records in the 1870s, it was step parents. You know, cousins in the house, friends in the house. The same way it is now. Only thing I'm saying is that now, as a unit, we need to start working together. You know, start picking each other up. Those about those relationships that's been broken, mend them if we can. If you can't mend them, leave them alone.
Exactly.
That's
where we at though, Planet. Like some things ain't gonna coming back from. That's why we talking about creating families. We moving forward with the people that we have. We happy for you, and we blessed and we grateful that you have done what you have done in your lineage and your bloodline. We salute you for that. But everybody's situation is different. People still dying out here. We still losing family every day. Still on the corner in the street. You know what I'm saying? It's different things. You know what I'm saying? So everybody got to move different.
Correct.
That's all. I'm just saying, for those people who have different situations, I don't want them to feel discouraged, because you might be somebody like me. That's the only one of you in your family. I mean, I got family members that I talk to, but we not building on what we build on. You see what I'm saying? Or other people that I have that I speak with things in great detail. I meet people online that I have the most best conversations with on a family level, and have an understanding of my mind and where my spiritual presence is.
Yeah. You know, and what Alvanas is saying here, that's, you find that a lot too. My grandmother, my father was mad at his father because his father was 12 years older than his mother.
Yeah, well, you know, the other thing is, you know, with this situation, this historical situation, there was never any healing of the collective and the individual trauma, right? So, you know, it's a country of broken people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also a country of broken families. So it requires a great deal of compassion and a great deal of desire to find the language that someone can really, because one can talk and preach and do everything they want to do forever, right? But if the person that you're talking to is speaking a different language, you know, I remember when I was 18, I went to Tokyo. When I was walking down the street in Tokyo, I was trying to find this flute, right? And I turned to the person in the street. You know, I'm from I'm from New York. You meet somebody, you just ask them. So I asked the homie. I said, you know, I'm trying to find, you know, the department store that has the flute, you know. And he looked at me like I was from another planet, because he speak a different language. You know, my arrogance coming from New York, you think everybody speaks English, you know. All right. But the reality is there's myriad amounts of people, and each one often has their own language. So to teach and to bring about that quality that you're speaking about, Hannibal, is learning how to communicate with someone on their level so they can at least hear you. And then it's up to them, once you have established that communication, then it's their choice, like Mafia says, whether they're going to relate to that particular frequency or not. And that's all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I seen a guy asked the question. He said, "Well, how much disrespect do you accept from a loved one or a relative?" And he said, "Well, how much poison do you drink until you die?" That was his answer.
Mm. Mm. That's real.
You know what I'm
Real.
saying? So
That's
like,
real.
so it's
Yeah.
like it's only but so much compassion I can have before I become combative.
True. But you can use the wisdom of compassion in the combative nature. It's
And
not.
that's a learning process. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's a learning. I ain't saying I
Yeah.
got it all. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
for those people who may be in the shoes that I'm in, where it's like certain things we ain't doing.
Right. Exactly. Which is very, because one can be in situations that require a different energy than what you're, would like. But yet in the moment, that energy has to be present.
So let me throw this back. Far as this being an indigenous series and family,
Mm-hmm.
how we talk about solving things is not in an indigenous manner.
To whose standard though?
To the indigenous tribe, because the tribe was everything.
Mm-hmm.
The tribe is bigger than one person.
Mm-hmm. It's a collective.
It's a collective. When they was talking about Generation X or at work, and they was talking about how certain people just go to work and see things that needs to be done in work. But now we got generations that want certain accommodations to work.
Mm-hmm.
Those accommodations is not going to work in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be accommodated when you got things to do. I believe is in a sense is selfish in a manner. I think where a lot of us don't learn that until we later on in age. You got me? I didn't know them things when I was younger, in my 30s and in my 40s. A lot of this stuff I'm learning now in my 50s. You get what I mean? And I'm trying to share with the younger folks is that selfishness gets us nowhere. Our collective unity is at stake here. You get what I mean? We've been fractured for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, but you talking to somebody who learned that young. You can ask anybody that know me in Baltimore. I've been a collective all my life. So because you think it's selfish because I'm looking out for me and I'm saying I'm standing on what I'm saying on,
I'm saying don't let people sour.
No, it ain't souring me. I'm moving how I gotta move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody saying, bro, I got $50,000. You write me a program and I gotta ask you for lunch money. And I just made you $50,000 for writing a program. Bro, you got to be out your mind. You talking about come and work for free and do this for the community. Man, you crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop playing. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Mm-hmm. It depends on there's community and then there's family. And there are, in both situations, there are multiple individuals who have a multiple thing. Now, if they're well, they say here the Kuleana, but if their destiny is to be supportive of the family, right? That's what you want to suggest. You can't change their life, but you can say, look, this family is an honorable space? And can you contribute to it in an honorable way? That you can do.
Right.
Right. And, in terms of you, Hannibal, your example is the greatest teacher. Just that they see you, right? And that you're committed to your values, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the greatest teacher. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I might add that you're doing that quite well.
Thank you, sir. I
And
appreciate it.
honorable.
Thank you. I got one more question before we wrap it up. And, from some, you say, Minister Parallel said, how can we win the mind of our youngsters if 75% of their time is being indoctrinated by the school system?
Take them out of school.
Well, it's not limited to. I mean, I hear it, but it's not limited to the school system, because this is the new school system, right?
Yeah.
They spend way more time on that than they spend in school, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that in terms of this cycle that is in front of us, it's shifting the game completely. And so it will be a totally different relationship to education, learning, any of that. Right? But the foundation, the core of Hannibal's desire is that the person, the family member, the member seeks the truth. And in that seeking of the truth, the hope is that it brings people together of like minds. Right? But that's all of this is new. I was talking to a friend of mine in California, and we were talking, and some kind of way we got onto the robot thing. I said, yeah, the robot thing is deep and da 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 da. She said, do you have them there? Right? And I was just like, no, we ain't got them here. He said, but because we got them here. I said, what are you talking about? She said, the next time she goes out and sees one, she'll film it. Because they're delivering the mail. They're not the mail, but they're delivering packages.
Yeah. In Detroit, you see the robots on the street delivering them.
Yeah. So that's what she was telling me about,
Yeah.
And that's symbolic. Not only symbolic, it's the reality of this new age that we have just stepped off into.
So tonight's been a long night, fellas. We done talked for 2 hours, and here it is, going on 14 minutes. Mafia, you wanna end this show with, you got anything you want to say to the people? And one before you go, I'm glad you back. I'm glad to see you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Love you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Love y'all as well, man.
That
Appreciate
comes
the love.
through. That comes
man.
through.
Just keep tapping in, keep tuning in, keep studying, keep raising your frequency and your vibration. That's all you can do.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to? Well, I want to say, everybody keep studying, like Mafia say. Keep tuning in on Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. 8 o'clock. and we gonna do our best to come with the knowledge and come up with some decent conversations that you guys can be a part of.
It's stimulating.
So, stimulating. So, Planet, could you give us some peace and if you know,
Absolutely.
close
Well,
it out?
let's follow the sound into the stillness, so we can bring on that love frequency that only comes from that deep stillness. Right? And the more and more one goes into it, the more and more it will reflect in one's life. Okay? So let's take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Let's send this energy out to our loved ones, and let's send it out to Horace Lee IV. Send him the frequency of divine guidance in whatever he's dealing with, and just remember this healing frequency of really love, and you see the passion of that love as it comes through Hannibal, as it comes through Mafia, as it comes through Donnie. And that's where we live, in that space of wanting to share this energy to bring about a better planet. Just follow the sound. Oh shit.
Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace and blessings. So everybody, you guys tune back into us Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. We'll be here. Peace.
Peace, peace.
Peace, man.